Welcome back to my channel, fellow Yeetmo enjoyers. So a couple of months ago, Moist Critical made a Korean food tier list video, and overall it was a pretty enjoyable video. Then my friend suggested that I should make my own version since I am Korean American, for those of you who didn't know. In terms of my cultural identity, I'd say I'm like 75% American and like 25% Korean. So I'm not full Korean like King Sejong or anything, but I still got that dog in me, if you know what I'm saying. In terms of food, I'm not a chef, I ain't no one. I wasn't part of culinary class wars, but I grew up eating Korean food all my life, and I can cook some myself. So yeah, I know a little bit about what I'm talking about. But I may have some strong opinions. If you watched my Squid Game 1 character tier list video, you would know that I don't really fuck with foods like tteokbokki, but honestly I still stand by it. That shit's mid as fuck, and now it's time for me to educate y'all on more items from the Korean cuisine. Now this tier list is something that I found on the internet. I'm not gonna go out of my way to search for every single fucking Korean dish out there, but I will include my top 5 Korean foods not in this tier list at the end of the video, so stick around for that. In terms of the metrics, I'll be judging based on 2 criterias. Number 1 is simple: how good does it taste? Simple enough, right? Now again, this is very subjective since my taste buds are different from yours, but also this shit's all factual. It's my tier list. Moving on to the next criteria, and that is, how accessible is it and how frequently can I eat it? Now the reason why I have this criteria is because a food may taste great, but if I don't eat it often for whatever reason, then it just cannot be at the top. Sometimes this food will be only good once in a while, or sometimes the food is expensive or not very common, so those factors will play into the accessibility of the food. Still, if the food tastes that good, then it may override this second criteria. Also, in terms of rankings, I will prioritize actual full menus compared to side dishes or something. You'll see what I mean later when I get to the tier list. Now, let's get into the tier explanation. So you will notice a couple of things here. First, I have the not rating tier. I specifically put this tier for foods in this tier list that are just snacks. Like, I personally can't rank these items in the same lens as the dishes here. It's like asking, oh, what's better, a filet mignon steak or fucking Lay's sour cream and onion chips? Like, I enjoy the snacks, but I'm not gonna compare it to a whole ass dinner menu, you feel me? So yeah, that's the not rating tier. Another thing you may have noticed is that there is no F or D tier, and that's because I love Korean food a lot. And in this tier list, I do not think there are any foods that truly make me go, yeah, this shit is straight ass. Like, all of these are at the very least decent. With that being said, C tier is for foods that I think are decent but maybe a bit overrated, so I'll say these foods are mid a lot of the times. I'll still eat them if it's there, but I will never be like, oh, let's go out of my way and pay US currency to eat this dish at an establishment. B tier is for foods that are generally good and I enjoy, but that's about it. A tier is for foods that are great and I enjoy them often, but just not as much as the ones in S tier. And S tier is for foods that are goated, essential to the ways of the Korean, and I personally cannot live without these foods. One more thing I want to mention, only S and A tier will be ordered. The rest of the tier list will be ordered, but just loosely. Alright, with that being said, let's get into the tier list. So because I pulled this tier list from the internet, we just have the pictures of the food at the bottom, so I'm just going to use my best judgment to assume that these pictures are what I think they are. So let's get the not rating stuff out of the way. First is the Korean ice creams. Like, I really don't want to rate these amongst all the other dishes. Also, this entirely depends on what type of ice cream it is. Me personally, I think Tejiba or Pig Bar is S tier, but the ice cream in this picture, which is Melona, is mid as fuck. It's just frozen honeydew. Also gonna put Pepero here. Not sure if this is supposed to depict Pepero specifically or just Korean snacks in general. But yeah, Pepero is just Pocky sticks. Good, but don't want to put it with all these other foods. Next, we have the Korean style pastry like Papbang over here. They're good, but again, don't really want to include in the tier list. Also, we have Tanguru, which isn't even a Korean food, it's Chinese, but it's so fucking popular in Korea, you will see this being sold at any given corner in Hongdae or some shit. But yeah, tanguru is mid as fuck. Basically, you take the fruits and sap all the nutrients out of it by glazing it with even more sugar. Yeah, honestly, this is some shit you just try as a trend. If you eat this shit as a regular dessert, please save yourself some lifespan and eat actual fruits. Okay, moving on to the actual tier list. So this picture I'm assuming is Korean barbecue, since there's another one that looks similar later in the tier list, but I think the other one is supposed to be specifically pork belly. So Korean barbecue is pretty essential because it's basically just grilling meats. Like you can grill pretty much anything from pork belly, pork jowls, beef tongue, intestines, ribs, brisket, you name it. Now I will say eating KBBQ in a restaurant is definitely not the meta anymore compared to like 10 years ago. Back then, you could pull up to any all you can eat place for like 20 bucks and you're chilling. But nowadays it's like minimum $40. And if you get alcohol, you're paying at least 50 bones per head. So if you're balling like that, then I guess it's worth, but me personally, I just do it at home. Just buy a couple of meat parts you want, prep the lettuce, garlic, samjang, drinks, all that good stuff. Because realistically, I'm not eating half the available meat options given in a restaurant. I just eat the couple that I like. But yeah, KBBQ is just too fucking good. I'm sorry that the cows and the pigs died for this shit, but your sacrifice was worth it for my taste buds. I'll put KBBQ in S tier. Okay, next is bibimbnaengmyeon, or spicy cold noodles. And me personally, this shit is mid. Like between mulnaengmyeon and this, I will get mulnaengmyeon like literally 10 times out of 10. Only time I eat bibimbnaengmyeon is if someone else ordered it and I just want to taste. But I can never finish the full bowl of bibimbnaengmyeon because that shit is sour as fuck. It's still a decent dish, it's just that I'd rather get so many other types of noodles before this one. So yeah, that shit is going to C tier. Next up is bibimbap. And this is a classic in the Korean cuisine. Usually I just put some namu, which is basically assorted Korean greens and leaves and shit. I don't really know how to describe it. Like it's bean sprouts and spinach and shit, and add some other shit like cucumber, zucchini, whatever. And top it off with some eggs, gochujang, and sesame oil, and you're good to go. Now this food is good and all, and it's solid, but it's definitely not something to go crazy over, so I'll put it in B tier. Next is bingsu, or shaved ice. And I know I said I want to exclude snacks, but bingsu is still somewhat of a complete dessert compared to like pepero or some shit, so I'll just put it in. And yeah, bingsu's cool. I personally either like injeolmi, red beans, matcha, or strawberry. If you put anything else in that shit like kiwis or mangoes or some shit, then I ain't eating that shit. But yeah, solid dessert, I'll put it in B tier. Now I believe this picture here is bulgogi, which is basically a type of marinated beef. In my opinion, bulgogi is pretty overrated, but it's still good. Sometimes it's a bit too sweet for my likings, but it's still pretty good to eat with rice. If you order this in a KBBQ restaurant though, you are trolling and throwing your money away. Just get one in Costco and you're good to go. So I'll put bulgogi in B tier. Okay, next up, I don't really know what this shit is supposed to be, but my eyes are telling me that it's cheese katsu. And yeah, you must be trolling if you get this on the regular. Maybe it's good to eat like twice a year or something, but first of all, this shit is unhealthy as fuck. Like, I don't know what it is with Koreans and their obsession for cheese, but this is just basically fried cheese and you're pretty much asking for a heart attack. Second of all, why would you get this when you have regular tonkatsu? Also, katsu in general isn't even Korean, it's Japanese, but I swear more Koreans eat this shit, so maybe it is Korean. Still, cheese katsu is not the best selection. We'll go to C tier. Okay, I think this next item is just skewers or gochi. Not much I want to say to this, it's pretty solid I guess. Can't really go wrong with it, but you also don't eat this too often. I especially love lamb skewers, that shit is so good, but overall, I'll put it in B tier. Next, I believe is dakgalbi, or spicy stir-fry chicken, which is pretty damn good. Add some corn cheese on the side, and also if you wrap this with lettuce and samjang, it slaps nuts as well. It isn't too hard to make, so if you can, you should try making it because it is somewhat expensive in the restaurants. I tried dakgalbi in both Korea and K-Town in Los Angeles, and yeah, location doesn't really matter, it's always good, but I wouldn't eat this that often, so I'll put it in A tier. Next up is juk, or porridge. This is solid, especially if you get either tuna or abalone porridge, but also you kind of don't really eat this too often. It is goated, however, if you're sick and you have no energy, so you need some carbs to slurp on. Drizzle a bit of seaweed flakes, sesame seed, and sesame oil onto this John, and it is set. I'll put it in B tier. Next is tteokguk, or rice cake soup. And I'ma be for real, I literally eat this once a year in New Year since it is the tradition. And after that, I'm like, alright, see you next year. Cause let's be real here, there's no other reason to eat this. I especially don't like the rice cakes in the soup cause it's just too much carbs along with the rice I'm eating it with. It's still good, but it's just not something that's in my regular diet. I'll put it in C tier. Next up is doenjangjjigae, or soybean paste stew. And yeah, this shit is hella essential. It's easy to make, tastes great, and feels very earthy. Now, if you get these at Korean BBQ restaurants, it's so fucking good because they put some crack cocaine levels of MSG in there. But either way, just slap in some zucchini and some beef, some onions and green onions, some tofu as well, and voila, it's perfect. Now, I will be honest, flavor wise, this isn't like the best food ever invented or anything. Like, it's good, don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying something like KBBQ tastes way better. I'm gonna put it in S tier because it's just a staple. Like, this is one of the most accessible Korean foods. Anyways, moving on. Next is also bibimbap. I guess this is torsot bibimbap, which is basically bibimbap, but you eat it hot. Like you put it in the sizzling stone bowl and it makes the rice crust, adding texture in the dish. It is better than bibimbap for sure, but in a general sense, it is around the same tier as bibimbap in my opinion, so B tier it is. Next is tonkatsu, and again, not really a Korean food, but it's in the tier list, so whatever. But yeah, I love tonkatsu. Not the healthiest option available, but it tastes pretty good. Some rice and tonkatsu with the tonkatsu sauce and some cabbage salad and kimchi to go makes it a good meal. You could also add curry on top if you want it. Nowadays, tonkatsu is a little more expensive, and also it's not the most simple to make a good one at home, but I still love me some tonkatsu every now and then, so I'll put it in A tier. Next is bungeoppang or taiyaki. Now, I used to think this shit was the best shit ever when I was a kid, but then I grew up and my sweet tooth isn't there as much. Still, I think bungeoppang is pretty good, but I only like the ones with red beans in it. If you like the cream-filled ones, then I don't know what to tell you. I don't think we can be friends. But this food is a little on the heavier side of desserts slash snacks, but overall, it's pretty good. I'll give it a B tier. Next is galbitang. I really like galbitang. I used to like it way more when I was younger, but nowadays I don't eat it as often. Probably because it used to be like $12, $13 back in the days, but now it's minimum 20. Still, the broth is very unique and tastes really good. Kalbi is good, and most restaurants will give you a pickled onion soy sauce type shit to go along with it. I personally don't like kalbi as much though, because I'm too lazy to rip it apart and eat it. But yeah, in terms of the soup class, galbitang is definitely up there, so I'll put it in A tier. Next is kimbap. And if I'm gonna be completely honest, kimbap is nothing special, but it is pretty damn effective. Like you can just take it on the go and it's pretty easy to eat. And it's not some processed garbage like McDonald's or some shit either. Me personally, I like tuna mayo kimbap or kimchi kimbap. The ones with beef and fish cake are pretty good too, but overall kimbap is just a solid food, like high B tier material I feel. Next is samgyetang or Korean traditional chicken soup. Now this food does taste good, but also I will pretty much never eat this over all the other soups and stews that exist in the Korean cuisine. Like I kid you not, the last time I ate samgyetang was like 10 plus years ago. It's just something that my family and I never eat, so personally I cannot put this any higher than C tier, but if y'all like it then all power to you. Okay, I'm not too sure what this is supposed to be, but it looks like a breakfast sandwich, so I'm just gonna assume it's just one of those Korean style street toasts like the isak toast or egg drop or whatever. Yeah, this one's good too. That's about it. B tier. Next is jjajangmyeon or Korean black bean noodles. So yeah, when I was a kid, this was my favorite food of all time. I could have ate this shit every day if I wanted to. Now it's still pretty awesome, but also these restaurants nowadays skimp you hella on either the noodle portions or the meat portions in the sauce. In Korea, this is one of the most accessible foods. Like just fucking order that shit and some dude on a motorcycle will ship it to you in a jiffy. In America, it's like minimum $15, which is kind of sad, but I mean, it is still a legendary food in my opinion. Like every time I watch a video of someone eating this shit, I start salivating like a fucking starving dog. So yeah, this shit is S tier. Next up is japchae or Korean stir-fried glass noodles or some shit. I don't know the exact English name, but yeah, this is a solid side dish for sure. Somewhat easy to make as well. Nothing more to it. B tier it goes. Next up is kimchi jjigae. And similar to doenjang jjigae, this shit is a fucking staple. It's simple to make and it tastes great. Such a simple yet effective common food that I don't think I can live without. And I like kimchi jjigae a little more than doenjang jjigae, so yeah, this shit is going to S tier for sure. Next up is arguably the food that represents Korea, and that is kimchi. Don't have much to say about it, but it has great history behind it, works solidly as a side dish, and you can make a bunch of other shit like kimchi jjigae and kimchi fried rice, and many more, so yeah, I'll put it in A tier. I won't put it in S tier because it's just not a full dish and it's just a side dish, but it's still good and important enough to be in A tier. Next up is gakdugi or Korean radish kimchi, And I personally do not like gakdugi as much as kimchi, but it's still a pretty good side dish. However, you have to make it well, because if you don't and the radish doesn't ferment as well, now you're just eating red colored radish and that's a fucking ass experience. Assuming it is created with good standards, I'll put it in B tier. Next up is 콩나물 or bean sprouts. It's another one of those side dishes that exists. I'm just gonna also include other namur type dishes like spinach and shit, like the ones you put in the bibimbap, all going to B tier. Like they're all pretty solid. Alright, next up is 콩나물국 here. Pretty much bean sprout soup, also solid B tier. Next up is sundae or Korean blood sausage. Now, when I was young, I thought this shit tasted like straight ass. And then I had a phase in high school where I thought it was goated. But nowadays, I've reached the point of stagnation. And overall, I think it's just a pretty good, unique food that's enjoyable at times. So yeah, I'm putting it in B tier. Next up is kanjanggejang or soy marinated crabs. And yeah, this shit tastes so fucking good, it's insane. Now, eating this at a restaurant in the US will be a challenge, because this shit's literally like $50 at minimum, but you can get a smaller portion at a Korean market for cheaper and eat it at home. I think that's a better option. I don't know how the soy marinade turns into that flavor, but that flavor is so unique and addicting. Also, real ones know this, but you can use the body or the head of the crab and mix rice in it. That shit's goated too. I see so many comments on Instagram saying how that shit looks disgusting and that's the reason why COVID started or whatever. Whoever said that shit, they're all tripping and are uncultured as fuck. Anyways, shit's going to S tier. Next is odeng or Korean fish cakes. Now, odeng is really good, don't get me wrong, but it's not very versatile. It tastes good, and the soup, especially, that soup that the odeng is marinated in, it tastes so fucking good. But then again, you will literally only eat this as a quick bite and nothing more. Also, it's a lot more accessible in Korea compared to the US. Like, you can get them at subway stations or the streets or some shit. But I have not seen this shit being sold in America besides inside a Korean market. Either way, a pretty good food. I'll put it in B tier. Next is Korean fried chicken, like BBQ chicken for example. Now, I used to work a part-time job at BBQ chicken, and yeah, I would snack on any leftovers any chance I got, cause this shit is too fucking good. If you eat KFC over BBQ chicken, you are fucking throwing. But also nowadays, Korean chicken is expensive as fuck, like $20 for an 8-piece. Like what the hell? Another reason why I like Korean chicken is the variety of flavors. You can go original, you can go spicy, you can go salty. Like it provides a lot of content. Also the cheese powder flavor in BBQ chicken, the cheeseling, yeah, that shit is cracked. It's so good. You can never go wrong with some Korean fried chicken and beer. So yeah, S tier for sure. Next is what I think is 고등어 or grilled mackerel, but I will just use this picture to denote any type of grilled fish in Korea. So me personally, I do like fish, but sometimes it can smell kind of shitty. And also, I really do not like maneuvering through all these fish bones. It interferes with my dining experience. But usually if I eat this, I eat it with my dad, and he just picks out all the juicy meat parts for me. I don't know, I can live without grilled fish though, so I'll put it in C tier. Next is ramen. And no, not the authentic Japanese ramens. I'm specifically talking about the Korean packaged ramens. And yeah, this shit is legendary. Like, obviously, the Japanese ramen prepared in a restaurant is a better dish, but the instant Korean ramens are just so much better in terms of taste and accessibility. Like, yeah, this shit is not healthy, but fuck it. There's so many good varieties of ramen too, like Shin Ramen, Jin Ramen, Buldak, Samyang Ramen. The list goes on and on. The only problem with this shit is that per package, they made it so that 1 is too small and 2 is too much. Like, what kind of demon mathematician calculated this shit? But anyway, yeah, you can throw in some eggs in there if you like. I like throwing some kimchi in there as well. S tier, no doubt. Next is yukhae, or raw meat dish. Now, I know what some of y'all might be saying. Like, you're gonna say, oh, it's fucking raw, and start crying about it and shit. Nah, bruh, this shit is goated, man. You can eat beef raw, it's fine, as long as it's well prepared. You can also slap in a raw egg on top, and that shit slaps. But egg quality in America is so shit, it may not be worth. But also, fuck it, I'll take the risk. Slap in some Korean pears and drizzle some sesame oil on top of that, and bam, you got yourself one of the best dishes you can eat with drinks. It's going to S tier. Next is mandu, which is Korean dumplings. Now, I'm gonna be for real, dumplings are good, but I don't really need it in my life. Also, I don't really know the difference between mandu and traditional Chinese dumplings and Japanese gyoza. Like, they're all kind of the same shit to me. Decent food, but nothing special. C tier for me. Next up is naengmyeon, which is cold buckwheat noodles. Now, unlike bibimbap that I mentioned earlier, naengmyeon is actually a top tier food. It is so refreshing, perfect summer food. Also, nowadays, I've seen some people chop the noodles up and eat it like a soup with soju. I tried it and it low-key hits, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, get the flavors right with some vinegar and Korean mustard. Eat it with some kalbi if you must. And yeah, it's just perfect. S tier it goes. Next up is samgyeopsal or pork belly. Another very accessible, very essential food. Also, it tastes so fucking good, especially if you wrap it up like some samjang, some garlic, some scallions. Shit slaps so hard. Now again, in my opinion, going to a restaurant just to eat pork belly is an insane financial throw. I would suggest getting a couple of strips and grilling it at home. Unless you're in Korea, you can eat like all you can eat samgyeopsal with like soju for 12 bucks. Meanwhile in Cali, it's 12 bucks for like the soju itself. Fuck out of here. Anyways, pork belly is goated. S tier. Next up is soju. Easy S tier. Enough said. Matter of fact, this shit is going above S tier. Also, me personally, I drink Chillo is back or Zero or Halasan 21. I drink fruit flavor soju every now and then, like maybe 1 out of 10 times. But if that's your regular option, I may have slightly less respect for you. Anyways, moving on. Next is halongtang, which is basically just ox bone soup. Now, I would say this is one of the staple soups in Korea. But also sometimes it feels like there is absolutely no reason to get this over the other soup I like, which is 돼지국밥, which is the pork bone variant of the soup. However, it is still good and also one of the most accessible soups in the restaurants. Nowadays, it's like minimum 16, 17 bucks for a bowl in America, which I'm not too sure if it's worth, but it's a classic, so I'll put it in A tier. Next is sundubu, which is spicy tofu stew or something. I think this one is in the same tier as halongtang. It is good and it is a classic, but I don't get it too often. I know a lot of people think sundubu is like goated and shit. Like for some reason, BCD tofu in America get hella traction, which is wild to me considering sundubu ain't even all that. Also, this one is a little harder to make at home without the correct soup base. But yeah, I do agree you can't really go wrong with a bowl of sundubu, so I'll give it an A tier. Alright, finally we got to tteokbokki. So yeah, again, if you watched my Squid Game 1 tier list video, you already know my opinions in this matter. This shit is a mid-pack. I will pretty much never get these unless someone bought it and it's in front of me. Then I guess I'll have a bite. I think rose tteokbokki is a bit better, but rice cakes in general are just not that good in my opinion. This just cannot be a meal either. It's a snack at best. It's crazy that when people think of Korean foods that represent Korea, one of the biggest names that pop up is tteokbokki. And I stand here strongly to potentially remove that title, cause tteokbokki is not that good, guys. I'm putting it in C tier. Next up is yukgaejang, which is like spicy beef stew, I think in English. Anyways, this is also one of those classic soups like halongtang and sundubu, but I personally don't like it as much as the other soups, so I'll put it at the bottom of A tier. Next up is miyeokguk, which is seaweed soup, and yeah, this is an essential for sure. It's an everyday home-cooked meal, pretty manageable to make, and it tastes great. Very healthy for you too. Apparently it's good for your blood health, that's why it's a tradition for Koreans to eat this on your birthday, to thank your mother for shedding all that blood during pregnancy as she popped you out the womb. Next is bandegi or silkworm pupa or some shit. Now for those of you that can actually eat this, respect to y'all, but I'm not gonna fucking eat insects and shit on the regular. That's just me though. I've tried it like once way back when, so I don't even remember what this shit really tastes like, but I'm just gonna put it in C tier. Korean hot dogs are also overrated as hell. Like yeah, compared to American hot dogs or corn dogs, they're really good. But this is one of those foods that are more of a trend than an actual food item you regularly eat, you know what I mean? Like I remember this shit was absolutely popping like a couple of years ago, but now I never see it around. Like it's just not that good. I'll still eat it every now and then for fun if I'm bored, but yeah, this is going to C tier. Next is pajan, or any type of other jeon, like seafood pajan or kimchi jeon, basically Korean pancakes or pizza. I don't know, I've seen people call them pancakes, but they're not really cakes at all. But anyway, yeah, this one's kinda good, but also I think it is slightly overrated. Like it's good for a quick bite every now and then, but I don't think it's that good. Also, pajan is often eaten with drinks, but I personally think it doesn't fit as well because it's just straight carbs on top of more alcohol. It's like eating pizza with beer. That shit is bound to just make you a fat fuck. But anyway, a good pajan or kimchi jeon or whatever is still pretty good, so I'll put it in B tier. And that's the end of the tier list, but now let me include a top 5 S tier Korean food that is not mentioned in this video slash tier list. Now let me just preface this by saying these are some of my favorite foods, but it's not objectively my top 5, it's just my top 5 right now, like from what I could think of. I'm sure many of y'all's top 5 also change every now and then. Also, these aren't ordered, just 5 that I can think of right now. So first we have 돼지국밥, which is basically a pork bone broth soup or something. And yeah, I mentioned this earlier, but this shit is absolutely goated. If you go to Busan, South Korea, you can have some of the best 돼지국밥 since that's where it originates from. But man, like I said, there is pretty much no reason for me to get any other soups besides this one. Like this is the main, and all the other ones like 설렁탕, 갈비탕, 순두부 are the sides in case you get bored and you want to mix it up a bit. Next, we have hue, or Korean raw fish slash sashimi. So firstly, let me explain the difference between Japanese sashimi and Korean hue. The way sashimi is prepared is a little different, like it's more aged, whereas Korean hue is served right as you catch it and you kill it. Also, there's different types of sashimis and hues, like it all depends on the fish, but my personal favorite is halibut and sea bream hue, also known as 광어 hue and chamdom. That shit is fucking gas. Also, you can eat hue with different sauces like soy sauce, samjang, or chogochujang, and you could wrap it in lettuce for some nice sam as well. The only problem with hue is that it's expensive as fuck, but taste-wise, it is just way too good. Next is 보쌈, which is boiled pork with cabbage leaves as wraps. Samgyeopsal, in my opinion, is the better of the pork dish, but this one is also pretty good. I suggest y'all to try to make this at home because it's not that hard. Also, if you're in America, this shit costs a lot in restaurants. But yeah, 보쌈 will go to top 5 as well. Next is 잔치국수, also known as banquet noodles. It's more of a simple comfort food, but yeah, growing up, this shit was my favorite noodles out of all the noodles in Korea. It's basically noodles in a warm anchovy slash beef broth, depending on how you make it, and you put vegetables and beef in there too. Very simple, but very effective. And lastly, we have jeongol, which is basically Korean-style hot pot, kind of. My favorite being 곱창 jeongol or 염소 jeongol, which is either intestines or goat jeongol. So yeah, basically it's just made out of LeBron. But anyway, if y'all haven't tried intestines or goat meat, then chances are you are probably gonna see me in disgust. But trust, bruh, this shit is gas as fuck. Anyways, that's it for the video. If you stayed throughout this cultural journey, then thank you so much. I haven't been as consistent with my uploads, so my apologies, but I'll try to upload more stuff. Thank you to those who comment ideas of character tier lists, but sorry I can't get to them all. Thanks for understanding. Comment down below what your favorite Korean food is, and let me know what y'all think of the tier list. If you disagree, then oh well. I apologize in advance for the inconvenience of me being right and you being wrong. Anyways, like the video, subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next Yeetmo Yappage.